Lakeview Cascadia is probably one of my most favorite projects in this June 2026 BTO launch. Why? Because even though it is located in a mature town, it is within walking distance to Marymount MRT station. According to Google Map, it's only 550 meters away. Bounded by Upper Thompson Road, Lakeview Cascadia comprises of 5 residential blocks. The project ranges from 18 to 40 stories in height, with 1,221 units of 2-room flexi and 4-room flats. So there's no 3-room, there's no 5-room, it's just strictly 2-room flexi and 4-room flats. These flats will be offered under prime classification, which is already predicted by me, and 2 of these blocks will include a total of 50 rental flats. This project is very near to Makrichi Reservoir, and residents on top of that can also enjoy facilities such as children's playground, fitness stations, residents network center, etc. The multi-story car park also features some commercial amenities such as mini mart, shops, an eating house, and also a preschool. On top of the multi-story car park, a roof garden will be hosting an adult fitness station, a hard court, and also community garden to encourage social bonding. Now, in terms of the waiting time, it's kind of long because it will take about 51 months for this project to be completed. And again, because this project is categorized as prime, the subsidy clawback rate is set at 10%. And because this is a prime project, remember that you will be subjected to subsidy recovery rate, which is set at 10% for this project. Now, if we look at the site plan, there are actually several blocks dedicated for mixed stack rental flat. So, for example, for block 3 to 6A, from level 2 until level 18, it is rental flat. But then level 19 until level 40, if I'm not mistaken, it will be BTO flats for sale. And then for block 3 to 7A, from level 2 to level 9, it will be rental flat. But from level 10 to level 18, it will be the typical BTO for sale. Now, if you want to know my in-depth analysis about this site plan, like which is the best stack and then which ones are less than ideal, please check out my other video because I will be discussing it on a separate video. Now, let's talk about the price. So, in Lakeview Cascadia, 2-room flexi type 1 starts from $216,000 up to $287,000. And then for 2-room flexi type 2, of course, it's more expensive because it's slightly bigger. The price starts from $257,000 to $361,000. I guess what's exciting for singles and also seniors, as you can see, there are quite plenty of 2-room flexi being offered in this project. So that's good news if you are looking for 2-room flexi and want to live in a mature town. And then for 4-room flat, in this project, it will start from $534,000 to $742,000. If we compare it with the resale price, the resale price nearby the area is just slightly under $1 million. But I'm pretty confident that if you are lucky enough to get a 4-room flat in Lakeview Cascadia, especially if it's high floor, then, 15 years from now, which is the construction time plus the MOP, I'm very confident you will be able to sell it beyond $1 million, assuming that the government doesn't do a major change in terms of policy. But then again, remember that because this is a prime project, there's a 10% subsidy recovery percentage for Lakeview Cascadia. Now let's talk about the location. So this is the map that HDB gave. As you can see, it is quite near the Marymount MRT station. And if we look at the Google map, I believe that this is the land plot that HDB was talking about. And as you can see, it's a very, very huge land plot. No wonder it can fit more than 1,200 flats. Now, if we zoom out, as you can see, actually, the Makrichi is over here. So initially, I thought, oh, this will be such a nice greenery view. And also, you can see the waterfront over here. That'll be nice. But unfortunately, upon closer look, that's actually won't be the case because of this building, you see. There's this residential block, which is called Lakeview Estate. So according to the internet, that building is a condo which was privatized from HUDC back in 2003, but that building itself was completed back in 1977. So it's a long time ago. So it's kind of old. Now, some people say that it's about 34-story high. So unfortunately, your view will be blocked by this, maybe except this part. So this part
seems like a parking lot or something. So maybe if you are lucky enough to get a block that is facing this car park, then you will be able to get a glimpse of the Makrichi reservoir, which will be great. Now, there's also a buzz that this Lakeview estate will eventually be unblocked. If it's the case, then unfortunately, even though the building will be torn down, but then a new building will be developed, right? There's a possibility it will be even taller, which means that your view will still be blocked. So please take note that if you apply for this project, you can't really expect like unblocked greener view of the Makrichi Reservoir. Now on this side, these are like low-rise buildings, so you may be able to get unblocked view if you face this way. And then on this part, this is like older HDB, which means that it's a bit tall as well. So this side is kind of blocked as well, even though as you can see, there's this strip of empty land plot over here. On the map, this land plot looks a bit small, but I think that it will be developed into something in the future. Now, in terms of amenities, actually, along the Upper Thompson Road, there are a lot of eateries and small shops around here. So you will have some good choices within walking distance. And of course, obviously, Sin Ming Plaza is over here, Thompson Plaza is over here, and of course, Bishan is just right over here. It's very close to go to Bishan. You can either take the MRT or take the bus, so that would be great. Now let's talk about school option. So if we look at this map, as you can see, there are few school option, but then it's kind of limited. As you can see, you have Whitley Secondary School, Catholic High School, Raffles Institution, but then I guess most people would focus on this one, Aitong School. So according to Google Map, it will be within the 2-kilometer radius. So, if you're interested to put your kids here, then this is good to know. Even if you don't have any school-going children, usually in Singapore, if your house is near top schools, it will also help to boost the resale value later down the road. So now let's talk about the pros and cons. So what do I like about this project? So I love the fact that this location, you can just walk to Marymount MRT station, so it's easy for you to go anywhere in Singapore. And then I also like that this is a mega project with more than 1,200 flats, which is kind of rare nowadays, especially if you're talking about mature town. We did have several mega projects in mature town, but most of them are like far away from MRT station. So the fact that this project is a mega project and it's near MRT station is very special. Another good thing, if you have a lot of neighbors within the same development, that will actually be good for resale benchmark later on. So it'll be kind of easier to get a higher price when you're trying to sell your flat after MOP. And then I also appreciate that the on-site facilities are quite good, because you will have an eating house, a mini mart, several shops, preschool, and also residence network center. Unfortunately, there's no supermarket in the on-site facilities, but then given the location of this project, it will be easy for you to shop anyway. Speaking about amenities, as mentioned before, this location is quite near to the Thompson Plaza, Sin Ming Plaza, and along the Upper Thompson Road, there are a lot of eateries and small shops as well. And of course, you can always take an MRT or bus to Bishan MRT station, because that side will have even more amenities. In terms of school options, this project is within 2-kilometer radius to Aitong School, but of course, you need to consider as well, like which block are you staying in. And then another good thing about this project is because there is only one project being launched in Bishan town for June, then you don't have to worry about the lottery effect, or whether you need to pick between two projects depending on your queue number, etc. So you don't have that problem here in Bishan town for this June 2026 launch. And I think in terms of the resale value, this project will hold its value well. And I think you should not have any problem trying to rent out rooms as well, because of the location and also the competitor nearby seems to be like older development. So I think if you are lucky enough to get a flat in this BTO, it should be very easy for you to sell later down the road, or even rent out rooms if you want to do so. Now, on the other hand, what are the things that I think you need to watch out for? For me, the biggest letdown, unfortunately, is actually the view most likely will be blocked by an older development, which is Lakeview Estate, which is closer to the greeneries, as you can see on the map. This development is an older condo, which is ex-HUDC, completed in 1977. According to Google, it's about 34 stories high. So unfortunately, most likely your view will be blocked by this development. Otherwise, you would have like a nice unblocked view, but unfortunately that's not the case. Another watch out is because this project will have an eating house, a mini mart, and several shops, etc. Watch out that for lower floors in certain block, you might get more noise pollution or even risk of cockroaches and bugs and rodents because of these eating house and shops. That might be a risk for you. This project will be a prime project. There are quite a lot of strict restrictions that comes with this development. I'm sure you are familiar with it by now, such as the 10-year MOP, subsidy clawback, you cannot rent out the whole flat even after MOP, your future resale buyers is subjected to income ceiling, etc. Another thing is objectively, there aren't that many school options that is nearby this development, even though Aitong looks like going to be within 2-kilometer radius from this development. But then other than that, if you look at the map objectively, there aren't that many school options nearby. Another downside, I'm guessing that this Bishan BTO project will be one of the darling in the June 2026 BTO launch, so expect the competition to be quite high. So what's the summary? I think the fact that the government socialized this land plot on the media even before the official announcement, that means that they are confident that this project will please a lot of people, and I think it does. It's quite rare nowadays to have a mega BTO project that is near MRT station and located in a mature town. Even though there are other projects near the plot with standard classification, as you can see, even closer to the Marymount MRT station, there are older HDB buildings, but then they are much older. I think they are launched like in the 70s or in the 80s, so it's not really your direct competition when you want to sell your flat later on after MOP. However, if you were hoping to get unblocked view towards the Makrichi Reservoir or the Lower Pierce Reservoir, unfortunately, I don't think you will get it in general because the old development next door, Lakeview Estate, going to block most of the view because it is 34 stories high, and from the map of it, your view will be blocked by it unless you are lucky enough to face the car park of the Lakeview Estate, which means that you can get some pockets of unblocked view, but then overall it will still be blocked. And then for young families, please note that the number of school option is actually kind of limited. If your kid is not going to Aitong, then where would they go? Of course, that problem can be easily solved with school bus, but then I just want to make sure that you realize that the school option is indeed limited. But overall, I believe that this project is still a very solid choice. Highly recommended if you want to live in the Bishan area. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.